I'll move this then.
So I offered that that might be
Welcome. Welcome to Celebration Sunday. We are looking forward to this. We have a really full service. We haven't had any full services recently, so this is a big change for us. This is our time of worship, of musical reflection and community, and whoever you are, wherever you come from, wherever you are on your journey, however you identify, whomever you love, we are so glad that we have found each other. And more than ever, we have cause to be grateful for the gifts of this community, for like Reverend Claudia and Simon, Dr. Les, and our choir, and for the inimitable Sandburgers. Do we love them? And so as we gather this morning, take a deep breath, just arrive in this place, and hear these words that are adapted from Marta Valentine. We pause this morning from the chaos of the world to reclaim the beauty within these walls. This beauty will carry us through our week, and we lift this community onto our shoulders with pride and the grace-filled expectation that we will be able to pass it on to our children and to our children's children. Welcome. Let us begin.
Hamba, siya, hamba, Qué belleza. Thank you. That was beautiful. Buenos dias. When we gather, we light the chalice, which is the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. And this morning, our chalice lighters are Rain and Lotus, if you'd like to come up. And we have a special friend this morning, too. Our words this morning are from St. Francis of Assisi. Start by doing what is necessary, then do what is possible, and pretty soon you will be doing the impossible. And now let us rise in body or spirit and sing together.
Thank you. Hey, good morning. Good morning, everyone. So I have a special joy this morning because I'm going to share one of my personal, very favorite books. When I'm feeling a little sad or lonely, I sometimes pull this book out and read it. I do. It's so good. I'm not going to read it except for the first page. I'm going to tell you the story. But for the first page, Somebody Loves You, Mr. Hatch, I am going to read it because we've got to get a sense of who Mr. Hatch is. All right, are we ready? Let's go. All right, take a look at him. Do you see him? How does he look? He's like this, right? Mr. Hatch was tall and thin, and he did not smile. Every morning at 6:30 a.m. sharp, he would leave his brick house and walk 8 blocks to the shoelace factory where he worked. At lunchtime, as you can see, what he would do is he would eat his cheese and mustard sandwich and drink a cup of coffee. And sometimes, for dessert, he brought a prune. So good. All right, let's see what happened. Well, so every day after work, he made the same journey home. He stopped at the newsstand. He stopped to get a slice of bologna or turkey for his dinner. That's what he liked, a turkey or a bologna sandwich. And then he went to bed by 9 p.m. every night. Early to bed. That was his way. And as you can see, he was pretty lonely. I mean, he was a pretty solitary guy. And people said, he keeps to himself. That's what they said. So One day, he was at home doing his lonely, solitary kinds of things when there was a knock on the door. And when he went to the door, does anybody know who that person is at the door? It's the mail person, yeah, the mail carrier. And there was a big box. And when he opened it up, oh my goodness gracious, look at that. What is that? I'm hearing Valentine. It does happen to be Valentine's Day, but what is that? It's a heart, and it's a lot of candy, right? Have you ever seen that much candy? Have you ever had that much candy? Anyone? I haven't. So he was very excited about this, and he was like, but the card that came with it said, somebody loves you. And that's it. That's all it said. So he was in his house, let's go on, and he was cleaning, as he always did on Saturday, when suddenly it hit him. He was like, oh, somebody loves me? I have a secret admirer. And he was just filled with joy. He was so happy. He immediately started dancing in his house, which is not something he was prone to doing. And then you know what he did? What he did was, let's go to the next one. He put on his favorite aftershave, which had been in his closet for a long time. He hadn't worn it. And he put on his favorite jacket, and he went outside to walk around his neighborhood because he thought, maybe I will run into the person who sent me the candy. And look how his neighbors responded. Oop, let's go back, please. Look how his neighbors responded. They were a little taken aback. This person over here is tangled up as she's walking her dog, and this kiddo knocks over her wagon, and somebody almost falls off a ladder while they're painting because they're just not used to seeing Mr. Hatch out and about. And he smiled, and he talked to everyone. And then the next day, he went to work, and instead of going into that other room and eating a prune and drinking some coffee, he went out and talked to all of the people he worked with at the shoelace factory, and he shared all his candy. And they were like, oh, this is amazing, and you're kind of nice. We like you, Mr. Hatch. And then that day, he went home, and he was like, I had so much fun. You know what? I walked home, and I talked to all my neighbors, and I said, why don't y'all come on over? And so some people brought brownies, and he made lemonade, and then he pulled out his harmonica, and he started playing it, and everybody just had the best time in his backyard. And so what happened was, from all of that, he started to get to know his neighbors. He started talking to them regularly. They would come over to his house. He always had people coming in and out, and he was just having the best time. And in a way, he kind of forgot about that box of candy that had started the whole thing until a few weeks later. The mailman comes to his door and says, oh, Mr. Hatch. And you can see everybody's already over there. They're playing. And the mailman says, I'm really, really sorry, but you know, on Valentine's Day, I delivered a box to you, and it came to the wrong house. It was not supposed to go here, and I'm in trouble, and I just wonder, do you still have it? And Mr. Hatch says, well, I still have the box, but I don't have the candy. I hope that'll help. So he gave the box back, and then he remembered, oh, yeah, it came with a card. Here's that card. It went with it, and so he gave it right back to the mailman, who was like, well, thank you. I'll see what I can do. And that night, Mr. Hatch went to bed at 9 p.m. And the next day at 6 a.m., he walked to the shoelace factory like this. And at lunchtime, he didn't even eat his cheese and mustard sandwich. He did not drink that cup of coffee, and he didn't even bring a prune. I mean, dessert? Who wants dessert? No. And everybody was looking in, and they were like, well, what's going on with Mr. Hatch? And then he went home, and he didn't talk to the person at the newsstand. He had been helping them out. Sometimes he would even help them by standing in when they had an emergency. And he didn't talk to the butcher. And he didn't talk to the kids who were like, hey, Mr. Hatch. He's like, and so, don't go. Too late. So there was a surprise the next day. All the folks noticed that he was sad, and so they got together, and on Saturday morning, well, now we can go. They've already seen it. They surprised him when he went out to sweep his porch. Everyone was there, and they said, everyone loves you, and they brought him candy and flowers and all kinds of things, and he realized that after all, somebody had loved him. And so Mr. Hatch had his whole life changed. And sometimes that happens, right? We don't know. But knowing that somebody loves us really does change our lives. So that's what we're going to be talking about in here today, is how we love each other. Do any of you feel like somebody loves you? Anyone here? Raise your hand if you think somebody loves you. Somebody loves you. All right. Well, what we're going to do now is we're going to sing to you Because We Love You. If you are new today or you haven't been with us before, you may want to go with your kiddo to find out where their classroom is. And we're going to sing to you and continue on. All right. Here we go. And now that we have established that we are loved and that somebody loves us, whether we like prunes or not, let us take a moment for prayer and silent meditation. So I invite you to get comfortable, feel the pew at your back, ground your feet, lower your gaze or close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths. How Shall We Pray by Judith Quarles, adapted. Let us join our hearts and minds in the quiet of meditation and prayer. How shall we pray? First, let us be open to the silence. Let us hear the sounds in this room, the noises outside, and imagine the sounds from the children gathering in religious exploration. Let us begin to hear the soft beating of our hearts, and let us listen intently for messages from within. Next, let us feel gratitude for our lives and our beautiful earth. As hard as life gets, as sad or lonely as we sometimes feel, let us always be warmed by the gifts of this life. Next, let us hold in our hearts all those, known or unknown, who are in need. May we find in ourselves the energy and knowledge to bring care to the world. And finally, let us be aware of the blessing that it is not ours alone to do the work of the world. Love and community work wonders that we by ourselves could never manage. Let us share a time of silence and form our own prayers out of the concerns of our hearts.
Here at UU Asheville, we're considered a beacon of the community, and what part of that beacon drew me in was the absolute welcoming environment that is here.
What I really love about this congregation is its vibrancy, its friendliness.
The values of, human dignity, human rights, democracy, respect for the environment. Living with those values daily helps me be a better person.
I think the values that brought me here are the values of inclusivity, knowing that I would be accepted and welcomed here. It was really important for me.
When I learned the identity statement for Unitarian Universalism, we are people of open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands, I thought to myself, that says it all, really. Those are my values.
The values I really appreciate here are how welcoming the community is and our focus on social justice and community service. I think that says a lot about our church as a whole.
It's all about love, but active love, like really loving what's easy, loving what's hard, and loving and embrace and loving and advocating. Yes.
It makes me feel happy and secure that when life gets tough, which it certainly will, I will be supported here. It's a kind of very secure feeling to be a member here.
I like that UU Asheville is a break from the difficulties of life, and I also really appreciate that people are always going to check in on me and see what else is going on and make sure I'm doing okay.
I have seen the kind of support that people give in this church community. It's there, it's real, and I know if I ever needed anything, it would be there and it would be real.
How does UU Asheville save me or bring me home safely? They just calm the waters. Everybody is there to support.
In the midst of all the American political, cultural turbulence, it's very important to me to be surrounded by people who are committed to a spirit of love and who are working to keep that spirit alive in the world. And UU Asheville grounds me in that spirit of love.
The church brings me home when I've heard too much news or too much trouble in the world. The church really brings me home safely. When I'm in the congregation at a service, I belong there.
When life's waters get turbulent and they're really choppy, instead of it being just me in those choppy waters, I'm in the big boat of UU Asheville, and those choppy waters don't feel quite so big.
This is a community of caring, genuine people who show up for each other when you need them most, when times are hard. We're here for each other.
Well, give yourselves a hand. Because, beloveds, that is who you are. And we are deeply grateful for the talent and the vision of Dan Ferris, who created that exceptionally beautiful, moving video. Thank you, Dan. It is indeed Celebration Sunday, and we have much to celebrate. And this morning, as we think about what we celebrate and what we aspire to as UU Asheville, I offer you this reading, Remembering the Future, by Julian Jamaica Soto. Can we develop the skill of remembering the future? Can we commit to build the community that will extend into a time that we only know by memory because it will outlast us? Memorize the compass points of the day yet to come. The truth, the love, the fire, the endless yes of the horizon. Shake the scales from your imagination. Reach, stretch, rise. There is no more time for pretending that everything can be all right without your care, without your attention. You can mourn, grief being more real at times than the promise of the sunrise, more real than the peace of the moon that by inconstant silver turns, disappears. And yet, while we may mourn changes, losses, deceptions, and betrayals, beneath the ash, we find the ember. We weep, and then, as we have learned from labor movements, we organize. Remember the day toward which we gather, the tomorrow toward which we advance. It is with your actions today, that you engage that muscle memory, that sense of smell, the ragged velvet feel of a day that you have never lived. It is also your day. Remember it well.
Morning. Does anybody know the song Shelter from the Storm by Bob Dylan? Okay, what we're gonna do my version of this song. So I was in my basement during the beginnings of COVID, missing y'all. And I was singing Shelter from the Storm, and I thought, you know what, this really is about us. But his verses don't really fit us, so I wrote some new verses for it. And you're gonna sing the chorus with me, but you gotta sing it like Nancy would. You gotta sing it like you're from Boston. So you gotta sing Shelter from the Storm. Can you help me with that? Shelter from the storm. From the storm, there you go. He won't listen, my old dad. He won't try to understand. Because I am this way, don't make me any less a man. And this is not a phase, it's at the core of who I am. Come in, we said. Come in, we said, we'll give you shelter from the storm. Come in, we said, we'll give you shelter from the storm. Well, I have 3 kids, Junie, Gage, and Tom. And I have been so tired since I became a single mom. And I just need some rest, then I'll clean up this mess. Come in, we said. Come in, we said, we'll give you shelter from the storm. Come in, we said, we'll give you shelter from the storm. I know I need some friends, and I haven't really tried. But it's been so hard just to get up since my husband died. It's time for me to find my way and to make Asheville home. And come in, we said. Come in, we said, we'll give you shelter from the storm. Come in, we said, we'll give you shelter from the storm. And from the church that raised me, I still got some wounds. And relations with my family, I fear, are forever ruined. And I just need a place to heal and is safe and warm. Come in, we said. Come in, we said, we'll give you shelter from the storm. Come in, we said, we'll give you shelter from the storm. I get told I'm not good enough every day when I'm at school. I'm ashamed of my body and the furthest thing from cool. Adolescence, I'm just so done with you. Let me go back to being born. Come in, we said. Come in, we said, we'll give you shelter from the storm. Come in, we said, we'll give you shelter from the storm. It'll be a miracle if I pay this month's rent. And where did it all go? I swear I rarely overspent. It wasn't in my plan to be part of the working poor. Come in, we said. Come in, we said, we'll give you shelter from the storm. Come in, we said, we'll give you shelter from the storm. Well, I've journeyed to this country, in the shadows I reside. I'm just trying to feed my kids, but now I gotta hide. I offered my innocence and got repaid with scorn. Come in, we said. Come in, we said, we'll give you shelter from the storm. Come in, we said, we'll give you shelter from the storm. Come in, we said, we'll give you shelter.
It's good to be together. You know, this past Wednesday, I was sitting in Sandburg Hall during our April Vespers and Learn Something New bingo. How many of you were there? Because we had so many people there that night. And in the midst of all this busyness that was going on, I was just looking around the space, and I could see my husband out on the deck. He was cooking hot dogs on the grill, and I could see all the members of the Pride Plus team who had showed up to help us get the space ready and to decorate. And I looked over, and I saw my bingo co-conspirator, Jill Overholt, and they were with their family, and there were these tables that were just overflowing with food, and there were about 75 folks or so who joined us, and my heart was just, it was completely full. It was one of those perfect moments. And this is what humans are made for. We're made to laugh. We're made to eat and learn and play together, and in that process serve some higher calling. Because we learned something. Did anybody who came not learn something? I asked. They said no. We all learned something new. So an article came out this week in The Atlantic, and I have a quick question for you before I talk about it. Do all of you know that The Atlantic started out as a Unitarian journal? It's founded by Unitarians. And the article that came out this week was titled, "The True Cost of the Church Going Bust." And it was written by Derek Thompson, and it pulled together a variety of threads that I have been mulling over myself for many years. Most people probably already know, for example, that church attendance has been on a steep decline since the 1990s, and it hit another significant point of acceleration in 2021. And so one of the questions that I'm always curious about is why? Why is that happening? Why is it accelerating? And Thompson notes that a few things happened in the 1990s that affected this. One, the internet and then cell phones just hit new strides. Second, political polarization began a steep increase during the administration of George W. Bush. And alongside that, the public and the political face of religion in particular was represented by Christian conservatives, people like Ralph Reed, remember him? And many others like that. And what that meant was that a lot of progressive youth and young adults began to feel like, well, maybe that's what I'm seeing of religion, maybe that's not a good fit for me. And they were already growing up as the children of a cohort who were more likely to have an attenuated relationship with their faith communities. Many people, the parents, were of what Protestant communities might call those Easter and Christmas Christians, And then at the same time, this answer to a question, well, I'm spiritual but not religious, gained tractions. And friends, I have a sermon on that one, but not today, not today. At the same time, Robert Putnam was outlining, many of you probably know this book in 2000, Bowling Alone. He noted that many of the voluntary associations and organizations and spaces were collapsing, from people participating in things like this. It's called Bowling Alone because bowling leagues had sort of fallen out of fashion. Another aside is that I preached on the book Bowling Alone in 2000 here as one of my very first sermons. So I've been working on this theme for many, many years. And that trajectory has just been difficult. Americans are socializing face-to-face in drastically fewer numbers. The average person has fewer than 4 close friends, and loneliness is epidemic, along with significant rises in anxiety disorders, depression, and mental health issues of all kinds. And now all of these things are correlative. They're not necessarily in causal relationship, but it is a very potent set of correlatives. Thompson notes in his article, and America didn't simply lose its religion without finding a communal replacement. Just as America's churches were depopulated, Americans developed a new relationship with a technology that in many ways is the diabolical opposite of a religious ritual, the smartphone. As the social psychologist Jonathan Haidt writes in his new book, The Anxious Generation, to stare into a piece of glass in our hands is to be removed from our bodies. to float placelessly in a content cosmos, to skim our attention from one piece of ephemera to the next. The internet is timeless in the best and the worst ways. It's an everything store with no opening and no closing times. In this virtual world, there is no daily, weekly, or annual calendar that structures when people can and cannot do things. Haight writes, in other words, digital life is disembodied, asynchronous, shallow, and solitary. Here's the thing. Places like UU Asheville are absolutely essential for human flourishing. That is a period, end of statement note. We humans need what are called third places, these communal spaces where we encounter a variety of people outside of our homes, in spaces that we share, where we can do communal activities that bring us into our bodies and into the present moment. Specifically of religious communities, I love how Thompson puts it so simply, and he's quoting Haight in a lot of this right here. Religious rituals are the opposite of digital life in almost every respect. They put us in our bodies, many of them requiring some kind of movements that marks the action as devotional. For example, Christians kneel, Muslims prostrate, and Jews daven. Religious ritual also fixes us in time, forcing us, as we're doing right now, to set aside an hour or a day for prayer, reflection, separation from those daily habits. It's no surprise that people describe a scheduled break from their digital devices as a Sabbath, right? You've seen that. And finally, religious ritual often requires that we make contact with the sacred in the presence of other people, whether in a church, in a mosque, in a synagogue, or even over dinner table prayer. In other words, the religious ritual is typically embodied, synchronous, deep, and collective. Now, Thompson has considered himself non-religious, and when he first became aware of the de-churching of the United States, he thought, who cares? He thought maybe it was even a good thing. But over time, he has significantly changed his mind about it, not so much from any personal religious conviction, which he actually doesn't have, but in recognition of the value of places where we gather to be human, to be deeply present to each other and to the world, places where we discuss morality, and to think about how we're going to serve each other and serve the world. For a while, interestingly, and this was very important to me and new, at first, because I had seen this research, it looked like the fact that people weren't going to churches was not affecting how they were volunteering and doing charitable service, but that isn't true. What's undeniable is that non-religious Americans are also less civically engaged. This year, the Pew Research Center reported that religiously unaffiliated Americans are less likely to volunteer, less likely to feel satisfied with their community and their social life, and more likely to say they are lonely. Clearly, more Americans are spending Sunday mornings on their couches, and it's not just affecting their lives, it's affecting the collective life. So you might wonder, well, why am I mentioning this to you, the folks who are clearly, churchgoers, or congregational attendees, if you prefer? It's because as we come to the end of our season of lighthouse metaphors, I feel that I cannot possibly convey how absolutely essential to our community and to meaningful human life this place is. Now, you can call me biased. You might think I have a reason to be biased, but I'm convinced we, Unitarian Universalists, are even more essential than religious communities with creeds and practices that mark you in the faith or out of it. Unitarian Universalism is the place where all of you is welcome, with no creedal demands, but with full confidence that it's not what we believe, but how we love that makes the difference and calls us into this circle. So Christians and Jews and atheists and pagans and wanderers, we can all find a home here where we ask big spiritual and ethical questions, but we actually spend most of our energy on helping everyone get free. Now, I don't know about you, but really this is why I am entirely all in on this faith. Unitarian Universalism is the center of my giving, my charitable giving. It's also what I've given my life to because I know how much it matters. And I have been studying it for a quarter of a century, and I've watched the world change around us, and all of that has only made me more convinced. Here, everything is possible. The only constraint is us. How much we go out and we share our light with the world, how much we share ourselves and our resources with each other and with this place. That's it. That is all. Everything is possible based on what we do. You know, Thompson ends his article like this. He says, I wonder if, in foregoing organized religion, an isolated country has discarded an old and proven source of ritual at a time when we most need it. Making friends as an adult can be hard. It's especially hard without a scheduled weekly reunion of congregants. Finding meaning in the world is hard too. It's especially difficult if the oldest systems of meaning-making hold less and less appeal. It took decades for Americans to lose religion. It might take decades to understand the entirety of what we lost. Friends, we did not abandon this old and proven source of meaning, purpose, and love. And if you can see how essential it is to everything that matters most in this world, to love, to service, to hope, to meaning, to purpose, to friendship, a third place, ritual, liberation, then I hope you are considering being all in with us. And to those of you who already are, thank you. You are the light of the world. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be. Aho.
Comes crashing through when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. Let the sun come streaming in, you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head, look around, you will be found. You will be found.
Now is the time in our service when we honor the work of our congregation, and we are glad that if you are a visitor today, you have found us. And so we invite you to introduce yourself, say your name and where you are from, or if you are from Asheville, even better. You may pass, but we would love to hear you and know who you are and welcome you.
Good morning. We are George Marinakis and Molly Smith, and we're very happy to be visiting with Iris and Clyde Harden. We are from the Unitarian Universalist Church in Reading, which is north of Boston, and very pleased to hear the Boston accent. I'll just say that it reminds me that my mom called me not George, but George, and that this church and this Unitarian Universalism truly is a place of sanctity from the storm.
Welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Chilton and my husband, Craig Mariani, and our son, Oscar, is off in the 5th grade classroom, and we're right from Montford, right down the street, and very happy to be here today.
Welcome.
Hello, my name is Brenda, and I'm visiting my son who lives in Marshall, and I'm from Charlottesville, Virginia. And I used to work at a Unitarian church in Fairfax, Virginia, 100 years ago. So I feel like I've come home to all these beautiful principles, and I'm just really happy to be here. And you have a lovely congregation, and you should be very proud of the work you do. I can feel the energy of your family here, and it feels nice.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Kim. I use she, they pronouns. I've been coming for maybe a couple of weeks or maybe even months, and I haven't introduced myself yet, but I'm so enjoying being here. Thanks.
Welcome. Okay, well, we hope to be able to greet you in Sandburg Hall. And if you have any questions, our coordinator, who is multi-talented, Trevor, would be happy to meet with you and answer your questions. As you saw when you arrived, our announcements run as slides at the beginning of the service. If you miss them, refer to Thursday's weekly e-news, as everything is described there. If you don't receive the e-news, ask an usher to show you how to sign up. And now we have special words from Will Jernigan.
Good morning. Good morning. All right, so it's Celebration Sunday. That means we're here to celebrate the annual giving drive, Spirit of Abundance in our community. And I think we're ready to turn our magnificent lighthouse around to see.
Remember last week, the sound you made then?
Yeah, there was some groans last week, I think. Okay. I can't see it. Does it look okay? Oh, there it is. All right, so let me share a couple things with you. Today we're at about 70% of our goal, and our goal is 800,000. Just a reminder on that. So we're not there yet. We're not at our goal yet, but we can still get there. And so there's a couple of data points I want to share with you actually to celebrate today. Nearly 200 households have already pledged, and 70% of those households were able to increase their pledge from last year. To that end, the average pledge across our entire congregational body went from $2,000 to $3,000, which is something to celebrate. We do have over 100 households that we're still waiting to hear from. That's actually something else to celebrate because we've got some more room to go to get to our goal. 100 households who have pledged last year but have not yet pledged this year. So that's solid. We do need everybody in, obviously. If you're interested today, we have physical paper forms. Wes, you want to just wave to everybody? There you go. Yeah, exactly. So The mechanism for pledging is, I mean, you can look to the weekly e-news, you can go to the website, it's on the giving part of the menu, it's all there. So there's a number of ways you can do that. If you have any questions about it, find one of us or check with the office. I also mentioned that we have over a dozen new households that have pledged already this year. And I truly believe that number is going to grow. I feel like that we're seeing more and more new faces in our community. So what happens from here? Today is going to be the close of the public campaign, but our AGD team will be working to do follow-ups with those who've not yet gotten the chance to get their pledge in. We are trying to do that soon because mechanically, here's what happens next. The budget for this coming year is drafted in April, which we're now in April. It's approved by the board in early May for then presentation to you all in early June for adoption of the formal budget. So that's kind of where it goes in sequence here. So we're trying to get today's the public close, but we're trying to get the rest of it really kind of wrapped up here as quickly as possible. So we got to know where we're going to be for planning and budgeting and all of those kind of things. So that's where we're at. Thank you for your generosity, the spirit of our community, all the things, the wonderful things that we've heard today. Let's finish strong together. Yeah?
And thanks to our fearless leader.
Thank you, Will. So as you have surmised, the work and ministries of this congregation cannot happen without your support. And we give you thanks every Sunday with music, with worship, with religious exploration for our children who are not just our future, they are our present. And your generosity allows us to share our values and deepen their identity as Unitarian Universalist. So now, because you make us possible, we will gratefully collect this morning's offering.
For the offering this morning, we don't normally make this an interactive part, but we're going to do that today since it's Celebration Sunday. So feel free to sing along. This is a call and response. No words on the on the screen. We're going old school with the style here. We just sing it and you just sing it back to us. Sound good? Up above my head,
Up above my
I
head,
hear music in the air.
hear music in the air.
Up above my head,
Up above my
I hear
head,
music in the air.
hear music in the air.
Up above my
Head, I hear music in the air.
I really do
Believe,
believe
there's joy somewhere.
All in this room,
All in this room,
all music in the air.
hear music in the air.
All in this room,
All in this
I hear
room,
music in the air.
hear music in the air.
All in this room,
Room, I hear music in the air.
really do
Believe, I really do believe there's joy somewhere.
all around this world.
All around this world,
Here singing in the air.
hear singing every air.
All around this world.
All in this
Here
world,
singing in the air.
hear singing in the air.
All around this
World,
world.
I hear singing in the air.
Really do
Believe, really do believe there's joy somewhere.
Up above my head,
Up above my
I
head,
hear music in the air.
Hear music in the air.
Up above my head,
Up above my
I
head.
hear music in the air.
Hear music in the air.
Up above my head, I hear music in the air. I really do believe there's a joy somewhere.
Oh my goodness, people. We are grateful for you, for the generosity of your presence, your joy, your treasure, and your talent. We are deeply grateful.
So that went pretty well. Why don't we do another sing-along? Is that cool? All right, so this time there's going to be words up on the screen, and I think you know this tune, so just follow in line as you see fit. I'll invite you to rise as you're willing or able, and feel free to clap along to this one as well. Oh, when we meet, fellowship. Oh, when we meet in fellowship. Oh, aren't you glad to be in that number? When we meet in fellowship. Each one of us makes up the church. Each one of us makes up the church. Yes, and all together, each one of us makes up the church. Today's the day we celebrate. Today's the day we celebrate the future of our congregation. Today's the day we celebrate. Oh, when we meet in fellowship. Oh, when we meet in fellowship. Aren't you glad to be in that number? Oh, when we meet in
All right, we don't want the energy to go too low because here we are at the end, and what happens next is even more fun. We have a ton of food. We have cake, both gluten-y and gluten-free and vegan. We have a bouncy house for our kiddos. We're gonna have some singing right down by the fire pit. Woohoo, you can keep this going. We want you to stay and celebrate. So it's so good to be together. One quick note for those of you who are parents, though. This is very important for our religious education program. You gotta get your kiddo from RE, and then you gotta keep your kiddo for all the activities. They're not gonna be supervised except for by you. Please get your kiddo and celebrate with us. All right, here are some words before we sing together. So why don't you, if you're willing and able, get back on your feet. And we are gonna, because we're about to sing our closing song, and these words will carry us forward. Love is the language we speak here, and generosity is our hallmark. May we strengthen one another in these gifts and carry them out into a world sorely in need of this light that we shine. Let's sing.